Sean, you ready? All right. 6 o'clock. I'd first like to open this up and call this public hearing to order for the City of Salem is wanting to increase, or had a recommendation from the Utility Committee to increase the sewer fee amounts for water meters 3 inches or larger. I believe the City of Rolla has a list of some of the same ones that we were given by the committee members. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak on behalf of this? There is none. All right. Well, at this time, then, I will call our regular public meeting to order and ask everyone to rise. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance and prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sean, if you lead us in prayer, please.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day, and we thank you for this community and everyone in it. As we gather for this week for Thanksgiving, we'd like to give thanks for the opportunity to be able to serve our community. We ask that you guide and direct us in everything that we say and that we do, and we thank you for all you do for us. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
First up, roll call. I am present. Alderwoman Dent.
Here.
Alderman Bullerjack.
Present.
Alderman Whalen.
Present.
Alderman Letchworth.
Present.
City Administrator Burbridge.
Present.
City Clerk Kohler.
Present.
City Attorney Weber.
Present.
Public Works Director Payne. Chief of Police Chase. Finance Director Stacy Houston. I don't believe that we have any other city staff. They're hiding behind this room over there. All right. We need a motion for the approval of tonight's agenda.
I'm making a motion we approve tonight's agenda.
I second the motion.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
And Alderman Bullerjack.
Yes.
Next up is tonight's consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Bullerjack.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
And Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up, on public comment, we have one tonight, Mr. Dave Davison. I'd like to speak on behalf of fire hydrants. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Good evening, my name is Dave Davison. I live on South Gertrude Street. I want to tell you about something I noticed that was at 4:30 this morning. The other day I watched a crew working out of their car working on the fire hydrant that's about 40 or 50 yards from my front door. I watched them for a little while. I didn't watch them finish. They were about their business. They seemed to be fooling around with the top of the fire hydrant. They weren't doing any painting. I went back in the house and they were gone. At 4:30 this morning, we had 3 fire trucks show up on the corner right in front of that fire hydrant with the house on the corner of Northwest Gertrude and West Roosevelt is where that fire hydrant is. I watched them. They tried to hook up, they couldn't, or it didn't work or something, and they had to carry and pull the hose up the block. If you know South Gertrude, those are long blocks in the first segment of South Gertrude, and they had to hook up to the other fire hydrant that was a long way away. In the old city map that I have seen, I thought the one down close to me was listed as fair and the other one was poor, but maybe I had that mixed up. maybe that was turned around. Anyway, I walked around that house this morning. I don't think there was anyone in the house. The tenant had moved out a little while back. And I looked at the house. It was pretty much gutted in the back of the house. And it goes, the black, it goes all the way from the back to the front of the house. There's nothing you can do with that house now except tear it down. I want to urge you to fix the fire hydrant that is 40 or 50 yards from my house. If it takes several minutes, like it did early this morning for the crew to hook up and put water on my house, then you will learn more about who I am if you don't fix it in a reasonable amount of time. At the same time, I want to urge you to do something about that house with the city ordinances that you do have, because the winter elements are coming on. It's not going to take long for that house to deteriorate, and it's going to affect my home value. That's it.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, next up, we have bids. Cola Mix asphalt bid.
Good evening, Aldermen, Mayor. The coal mix bid staff summary is as such. This hot mix asphalt will be used to patch various potholes and wastewater cutouts in existing streets to make them smooth, level, and easier to traverse, improving the overall street infrastructure in the city of Salem. We had two bids that came in. The lead belt materials bid was $460 less than the Willard asphalt quote or bid. Unfortunately, prior experience has shown the lead belt materials hot mix sets up too quickly and becomes clumped or nearly impossible to use to fill potholes in areas after the initial use of it. Basically, it just balls up and they can't work with it. So this makes the remaining product of no use shortly after receiving it. The street department recommends the product Willard Asphalt supplies. Fiscal impacts, if this will come out of the general fund for street maintenance in the amount of $18,400, and the department recommends that we we ask for approval of the bid for the Willard Asphalt in the amount of $18,400. Basically, we've got a lot of cutouts that we've done a lot of street or water line repairs and such that we need to patch, and this would get us through to the next fiscal year. So I think we could really I'm hoping they can take care of all the patchwork. So I can't make promises, but potholes, patchwork, so.
This time I'll open it up if the board has any discussion.
Just a clarification, Steve. The one bid you felt was an inferior product?
Yes.
Thank you.
And the price difference of $460 for workability of a product that they can continue to use, because they're getting such a large load at a time, 16 tons. They don't necessarily use it all in one day, so.
Okay.
I looked at our budget, we have plenty in the fund for street maintenance. We have a $120,000 budget line item for that, so we got plenty.
All right. There's no further discussion. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve bid.
No second.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Boyd,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
and Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Next up is the wastewater treatment plant for Phase 2A bid award.
Okay, so for this bid, We had put it out to bid. You'll see, we advertised starting on October 8th with the bid opening on November 13th, so it's just a little over a month. We did receive only one bid. There had been additional contractors interested in putting a bid even as early as that morning, but only one that was submitted when it came time to open bids. So this is, again, 2A. This is the part of the project that is grant funded, the $5 million ARPA grant that the city received. And so then with the city's match, I have that broken down. You can see the fiscal impacts, the $5 million in grant and the $50,000 city match for a total of $5,050,000. And then the bid came in, if you look at the base bid and all of the deductive alternates. Okay, there were, I believe, forgive me, I should know, 4 deductive alternates. So these were things that if we choose to accept that alternate, we're taking something away from it. Okay, so that is staff's recommendation, staff and the engineers. Their letter is in the packet, that we enact all of the deductive alternates. That brings that base bid down to $4,204,916. Engineering fees are $842,000, so that puts us at $5,046,916 for this project. So like I said, at this point, both the engineer and staff do recommend approval of this bid.
Thank you. This time I'll open it up for discussion. No discussion. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the base bid and the deductive alternates 1, 2, 3, and 4 from Mid-State Pipeline Maintenance for $4,204,916.
I second the motion.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Next up, we got some new miscellaneous business. From the police department vehicles to be sold on Purple Wave.
So these are the 3 vehicles from the PD fleet that needs to be rotated out. 2017 Explorer and 2 2018 Chargers. We just need the board's approval to put those on Purple Wave for sale so they can be rotated out. Any funds from those are put back into the general fund after they're sold.
Good, thanks.
And I'm not sure if Chief has anything that he wants to add to that.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to authorize the sale of the 2017, 2018 Charger and 2018 Charger.
And I'll second the motion.
Now we'll call for the vote. Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
And Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Next up is the first reading of bill number 3630.
Bill number 3630, an ordinance establishing service availability fees for sewer services provided by the city of Salem, Missouri.
Thank you. All right, next up is the second readings for bill number 3631.
Bill number 3631, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between Build Tech Construction LLC and the city of Salem, Missouri for the Salem Water System Improvements Contract A.
All right. Do I have a motion for bill number 3631?
Make a motion to approve Bill 3631.
And I'll second the motion.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderman Boyd.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
And Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Next up is the second reading of bill number 3632.
Bill number 3632, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between Caldwell Tanks Incorporated and the city of Salem, Missouri for for the Salem Water System Improvements Contract B.
Do I have a motion for bill number 3632?
I'll make a motion to approve Bill 3632.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Bolerjet,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
and Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Next up is bill number 3633.
Bill number 3633, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between B&H Well Drilling and Pump Service and the city of Salem, Missouri for the Salem Water System Improvements Contract C.
Do I have a motion for bill number 3633?
I'll make a motion to approve Bill 3633.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Bolerjet,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
and Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
All right, we'll do the first reading of bill number 3634.
Bill number 3634, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign change order number 1 to the downtown sidewalk improvement project contract. Permission to read bill number 3634 by caption only?
Yes,
Second
please,
reading?
for the second reading.
Yes. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign change order number 1 to the downtown sidewalk improvement project contract.
Thank you.
So Mayor, Alderman, this change order, I don't know if any of you have been downtown and seen the project, its progress so far. On that first half block, there is quite a height difference between the curb in front of the parking spaces and where the actual sidewalk is. So there's 14 inches in width that is supposed to be concrete or brick pavers. The height difference is going to make it difficult to keep those pavers in when we consider freeze and thaw, the heave that happens in the soils. So it's recommended that on that first half block only, that for that 14-inch wide band that we substitute poured concrete that's stamped and dyed to look like the pavers. That way we eliminate the maintenance as well as the hazards that would come with pavers popping out of that section. So the additional cost is I've got an extra zero in there, $1,943. My apologies for that. That will be the additional cost to do this concrete work over what the pavers, that's material cost only because the labor is considered essentially the same. So I would stand for any questions.
I have a comment. After talking with the foreman on the crew and looking at that, I think it would be foolish to go with the original plans and have it heave and become uneven and not set. And, you know, they've built all the ones in Rolla, so based off that, I think we should follow the expert's recommendation.
I agree.
Yeah, one other note, since this is a change order to a MoDOT contract as well, we have verbal approval for MoDOT to proceed this evening. So I would just recommend that in your motion, you include, assuming someone chooses to do so, move approval pending MoDOT's formal agreement. So,
Okay. At this time, do I have a motion for bill number 3634?
I move to approve bill number 3634 pending MoDOT's approval.
I second the motion.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Bolerjet,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
and Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
All right, next up is reports. Ms. Burbridge, you're up first, ma'am.
So you do have in your packet, and I believe I sent to all of you yesterday afternoon about our latest emergency purchase for the wastewater treatment plant. As indicated, there's a 6 to 8 week lead time for this bearing assembly. If the rotors go down, our plant's dead. I mean, it's pretty critical that we get this going. That's why I went ahead and authorized the emergency purchase of this rather than going through the normal procurement process. Yeah, our guys are doing extra greasing of these bearings and really watching them closely, trying to help keep them moving as we move forward. So in addition to that, like I said, we just talked about the downtown project. That is continuing to move along. We've got our first change order. They were boring under Highway 19 today. Tomorrow they'll be boring under 4th Street. So they went from, So they went from the east side of 19, bored under 19 to the west side. And then they'll bore from that point north under 4th Street to the Bank of Salem corner.
Okay.
And the reason for the borings are to get underground electric where they need to be. So they've started demolition on that next half block. Like I said, they'll come back. They're actually, one good thing, our engineer reached out to me this afternoon and said if I'll let him know as soon as we're done with this meeting how the vote went for the change order, Mag-I could potentially get to pouring that concrete tomorrow. So for those replacement of the pavers. So trying to finish up that half block. So we are missing anchor bolts for the light poles. So the light poles won't be until, we're assuming, sometime February, but we have the templates for the layout of the base, but we need the anchor bolts before they can pour that part. So that's why there's a couple of squares missing in the sidewalk. Trying to think what else. You see the temporary lighting. Thank you, Steve Payne and Public Works crew. For the temporary lighting, we have up on the north side of 4th Street right now.
Okay.
Kind of the string lights. So those will be up through the duration until our permanent light poles are in. So we will actually have them on both sides of the block and on this first half block. Okay, once we kind of get things cleaned up where we can get them there. We just didn't want those blocks to be pitch black and, do you know what I mean, have issues. So we have had a few positive comments about them. Folks like the looks of them. So we were a little concerned that we do this time for temporary lighting. They might ask for them every year or so. So anyway, so that's moving along. You notice the stage behind us, so that floor has been refinished. It's got the rest of this week that it's supposed to set basically untouched, and then for our next meeting, we should be able to be back up on the stage. So, yeah. So, anyway, that's all I have for tonight.
By any chance, can we repurpose those lights from downtown?
That
Those
is
LED lights?
That is the intent.
Okay.
We built them, we designed them, it was a staff effort with the intent that we be able to store them after this project is done and use them for events moving forward in the future.
Okay.
Good deal.
So,
Yeah, those lights that they've got strung up are a lot brighter than what they looked like before we purchased them. So,
Right.
yeah.
so.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Well, that's it for your report. Miss Stacy Houston, our finance director, come on up, ma'am.
Forgive me, Mayor, can I jump in here while Stacy's walking up?
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple of other items to note, my apologies. At the next utility committee meeting, BHMG engineers who have been working on our electric utility rate study will be presenting to the utility committee their findings so far. I don't know exactly what that is going to be or what information, but I would like to, if Alderwoman Dent is in agreement, to kind of invite the rest of the aldermen to attend so that you're there for that presentation and hear what they have to say. The timeline that we have received is that they should be finishing that up in January, but recent conversations, we'll know on the 11th where they're at. So that is coming forward. The other item that I wanted to mention is that also at the upcoming utility committee meeting, we'll have a demonstration of the hometown grid. So that's the system we're testing for power outages. Okay? So, and just a quick note out to this is for power outages only at this point. Okay, that's the only reason to call. We've had a couple calls come in, but they ended up not being, yeah. But that is out there. We've got it linked on our Facebook page as well. So if someone goes there and they can't remember the number they're supposed to text or call, you can do either one. We've got it linked. It's one of the additional websites that's posted on our Facebook page in our info. We have both our salemo.com as well as the hometown grid, and that will take you to the page and it has the number. So a quick, easy reference for folks. Okay,
Actually pretty neat.
so,
All right, Stacey, your time to shine.
oh, sorry, you're looking at me meaningfully, aren't you?
Right. Okay, so this is an update on our sales tax revenue, and these numbers are through the end of November. The overall sales tax revenues are up 12% from the same time frame as last year. July through November general fund sales taxes brought in just over 1.4 million. Parks and Rec sales tax revenue has brought in 263,000, with capital improvement sales tax revenue has brought in around 351,000 so far for this fiscal year. Okay, next page.
Sorry, it's decided to get a mind of its own, apparently.
Okay, this is an overall look on our utility usages and revenues through October. So year-to-date, for this fiscal year, we have billed out nearly 16.9 million kilowatt hours. That is down around 5% compared to the same time frame as last year. Electric revenues, we have billed nearly 2.3 million. On the purchase of power, this is what the city pays to MPUA to provide power to us. We have paid out around 1.6 million. That's about the same as we did the same time frame as last year. Water consumption, we have billed 44.5 million gallons. That's up slightly compared to the same time frame as last year. Water revenues billed is at 290,000. We've collected 293,000 of water revenues year to date. And on sewer consumption, we billed nearly 39.2 million gallons. Sewer revenues billed is just under 418,000, with sewer revenues collected year to date is at 398,000. Okay, and this page lists all of the funds the city has. It shows the activity of each fund, and this goes through the end of October. It shows the beginning balance of this fiscal year, which was July 1st, then the revenues and expenditures and any transfers between funds. Then the last column shows the ending balance in each fund as of October 31st. And then if you look at the very bottom, shows the total of all funds comes to 11.7 million. One more. Okay, and this page shows the total fund revenues and expenditures compared to what we have budgeted. And we are at 33% of the fiscal year through October. Revenues and expenditures tracking is close to expectations for this point in the budget year, but slightly behind. Revenues, we've collected 29% of the budgeted amount. With expenditures, we've spent 28% of the budgeted amounts. And that's all I have. If you have any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Stacey. All right. This time I'd like to invite Miss Kayla Cisco to come up and receive her award from us. We forgot to give to her. A little late ordering it, but better late than never.
No crying.
I'm not gonna cry. Okay, I'm gonna walk around. This is for you and all your outstanding service to the city of Salem. Thank you for serving. And it was always
Hey,
glad.
guys, turn around the other way.
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Kayla.
Yes, thank you.
Next up in my report, just a reminder that we have the Christmas parade coming up December the 7th. Their lineup starts at 5:30, but the parade will begin at 6 o'clock. Next up, we got the Salem Fireworks Committee, the PJs and Pancakes, which I still need to buy tickets from Kayla back there. December the 14th at the Armory from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I think all proceeds go for our firework fund for next year's fireworks. So I'd appreciate it as many people could come out and attend
Yes.
and sponsor that event. It's a great event. I think other than that, I'll keep the rest of my meeting short, or my report short, and I'd like to thank all the people from the public that reached out to the city and given us big kudos for the downtown project as we keep trying to progress the city's future a little bit more forward. I know some people have a trouble adjusting to change, but it's a good thing. Hopefully it revitalizes our downtown and brings business back to where it needs to be. It makes more inviting and welcome to small business owners, which from everybody that's had a history here in the city, that's the foundation building blocks of what our city was built on, is small business. Other than that, that's all I have for tonight.
Mayor, if I might follow up, we actually had staff start painting some of the curbs around that new section today. They're not all completed, but Steve had his guys out there working on that today. And we've also ordered reflective, well, I'm not sure what you call them, sticks, but thin reflective pieces to go out on the outer edges of those paver sections. Because part of the concern too, not just at night, but then in the wintertime when we have snowplows coming through, they need to be able to have the visibility as well. So those will be going in as well later on, so.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll
Well,
quit
thank you,
interrupting.
guys. Oh, no, you're fine. It's that one last thing. No, but we'd like to thank the public for their support of this project, though. It's been much needed. It was talked years ago, and it's finally happening, so thank you. Other than, next person up is Mr. Steve Payne. It's time for your reports.
Okay, so for the wastewater treatment plant, crews are still working to get I'm sorry, real quick, that's just some photos. The electric crew was out there at 4 a.m. dismantling the light poles, existing light poles downtown so that they could be demoed and taken out. And then the other crew members showed up roughly at 4 to 5 in there, and they started working on setting those temporary posts. Kudos to the construction crew for designing them so they have fork pockets. They're treated lumber. They should last for years to come. They could be used for the balloon event. They could be used for whatever city events we want. We have, I think we put 16 of them together, and we have all the cable and light strands, so they'll be a bonus for us for future events. Yeah, and then the sidewalk picture you have, I was speaking just randomly to Mrs. Sherry Stack, and she had told me about the food pantry, the food distribution center that they have over there, and that they have so many folks. They had the most families show up or personnel show up for help last month that they've ever had. They had 3,000 people show up for assistance. So that's from all over the county and in the city limits. And she said, Steve, I've got these folks that are out there, and they can't wait those hours to use a bathroom. So they literally line up the cars all over the street and everything, and then they come down the sidewalk. And she said the sidewalk on 8th Street's terrible, and I just, for some reason, hadn't laid eyes on it. So when I did, she said we literally have a 102-year-old lady that comes and picks up her own food. She drives and picks up her own food, and she said if these folks are walking down that sidewalk and somebody gets hurt. So the crew went out and immediately demoed it and re-poured that whole 8th Street sidewalk. So if we have hazards like that in the city limits, just let us know. All you have to do is stop by and ask the utility ladies, hey, can we put a work order in for this, or can I talk to Steve Payne or Sally, and we'll get on it. I prioritize things. I don't play favoritism. Right now, concrete work, a lot of it has been curbage for people whose homes are genuinely taking on stormwater. So, I try to run through those first. and just make it fair and impartial. So, but that sidewalk, I mean, I don't know how many people were walking up and down that thing, so we got it taken care of. Anyway, so I'll jump back to wastewater treatment plant. Our crews are still working to get all systems back online, but we are meeting. We're at a norm right now that's comfortable. So, no emergencies at this moment, but all that equipment, all the electrical stuff that was submerged underwater has to be gone through. And we sat down with Archer Elgin, the engineering firm, and we worked through a plan. And we're reaching out to vendors to come in and because some of this stuff's so intricate that our electric department's like, it's specialized equipment. Right. So we'll be moving forward with that. I'll keep you advised. They're working on their equipment repairs daily. Worked on a difficult sewer main blockage Saturday the 16th. So, your sewer mains, the oldest system has root structures that grow into it. So I came out with the guys and we spent Saturday looking for manholes. One of the old trunk lines that comes around from Schwartz all the way around the city, some of those low bottom areas, the sewer main, stuff's hard to find, right? So we all fanned out and spent an afternoon searching, and we got it unjammed. But moving forward, I've got to come up with a better plan for how we're gonna fight that stuff in the future, because it's not getting any better. So equipment-wise, we're brainstorming on how we can do this. The vac truck is amazing, but the vac truck, you can't drive that into a swamp. No. So we're trying to figure that out, but we'll get it. Continue cleanup efforts of all the wastewater treatment facilities that were underwater. Conducted a walk down of the flood damage with the Sedgwick insurance adjuster. We'll shift gears to the water department. They conducted a test of the backup power generator. So we have a large trailer mounted generator for well number 4. So if in an emergency, the power goes down, we can keep our water pressure up and keep citizens in water. We had a contractor come in and set that up so that it would switch. We could do the switch and run the generator, and our guys went to test it and it wasn't correct. So the vendor will be coming back and making sure that's up and running. So that's we kind of shoved that into emergency mode for sure, because I wouldn't want to run out of water. They've continued to repair water service lines. Fire hydrant maintenance and repair crews continue working around the city. They have done, at this point, 153 hydrants, received maintenance and oil, as well as being diagnosed and documented. 127 hydrants were painted. Excuse me. 69 gate valves were painted, and we had to change the gate valve color to blue because Ameren Gas got a hold of me and said they didn't like gases yellow. And we were, so we're taking care of that at this point. I contacted the fire chief, and the aforementioned fire hydrant was not the problem during the fire that just occurred. That hydrant was functioning, and it was something that the fire department had to work through with their own equipment. So that fire hydrant will be maintained and in a orderly fashion, just like all the rest of the fire hydrants. So they've done fire hydrant maintenance they'll be doing it up until tomorrow, and their plan was to stop stirring up. Every time they crack open a fire hydrant to test it, they run it as clean as they can, but we've had a little bit of turbidity. I've seen it, in some of the fixtures at the office. So our tech ran around, and he continues to flush them and do what we can to make it a painless process, no pun intended. But they will be doing painting so as not to stir up water on Thanksgiving. They'll be doing painting Thanksgiving and through the weekend. So that's it on fire hydrants. Did you guys have any questions? I'm just really going. Okay, great. The electric department checked out our new transformer at the Al Brown Fields, and unfortunately it was submerged as well when the Al Brown Fields flooded. So all that time waiting on that transformer with the lead time that we had, now we have to possibly replace it. So we're working towards that at this time. They assisted with the well 4 generator test. The electric department was on scene to make sure that we didn't zig when we should zag. Continue assisting the wastewater treatment plant with their repairs. when I tell you it's just great to watch the team, and I know I'm always cheerleading for them, but these guys have really just become more of a cohesive team. The electric department, one of our electric journeyman linemen worked at Victor Plumbing for 8-10 years, and that guy will get right down in a hole with the best of them and be working plumbing issues, and it's a great thing to see. So big team effort. We've been monitoring the contractor, Forster, that's doing the line clearing, and they are they are blazing a trail. I mean, you want to talk about a hard-working crew. They're out there and getting your feeder line cleared up. So I expect to see them finishing up in no time. So there have been a few complaints of a little better on the cleanup, and they're real responsive. So if any of the public has an issue with cleanup or their lines, let us know and we'll have that taken care of. So line trimming crew for the city continues to clean up service areas around town, and Lonnie's last name, I spaced. Mosley is doing a great job, and Dylan Fleener, and they are out and they're just taking care of a lot of those backlogged work orders and getting stuff knocked out. So hopefully, if we have an ice storm this year, we'll be good to, better off, way better off. So, and of course, the electric water department continue to do their locates. So, construction crew, like I said, they built those poles. Kudos to them. Installed the new sidewalk on 8th Street for Shepherd's Nook Food Distribution Center. They're continuing repairs and drywall work on the animal shelter. It's a priority, but I asked them to only be in there on rain days because concrete season's coming to an end shortly. And the flood really did highlight a lot of, not a lot, I mean, it highlighted some areas that need attention. We did take a lot of calls and stuff. I mean, I hope the public understands that flood was unprecedented. I mean, it was, everything took on water, right? I mean, within reason. So, but we're going around, and when we get complaints, we go over and lay eyes on it. I'm working with MoDOT on a couple of complaints off of the main highway system because citizens have contacted me, and if I can work with MoDOT, I'll get them out to come take a look as well. So, team effort, right? So, construction they also were out on scene early in the morning to help cable up the temporary light poles. So that was a good job. Streets set up. Brent Young with our street superintendent set up an Ameren gas training in early December, bringing Ameren to town to teach us how not to puncture gas lines and make sure we do things safe out on the job. So we're going to invite as many folks. I don't know if we'll open that up to contractors if they'd want to sit in or not, but if we have seating, I don't know why we wouldn't. So locates are important, right? They continued stormwater drain and drop-in clean-outs on the streets. The leaves, working on that as well in different areas. Repairing crushed culvert openings around town. So if you've got a stormwater drain culvert that's in the city right away, those guys will come over and work on that as well. The mechanic assisted with repairs at the wastewater treatment plant as well, worked on several pieces of equipment the past week, worked on facility maintenance issues at various buildings, City Hall, TCRC. Your cemetery crews still just doing their daily cleanup and maintenance, trimming trees and brush, and things have slowed down out there, obviously. So that was the quick one. I'd like to remind the citizens of Salem to please call 729-4811 if they have an office if you have issues, and we'll get a work order initiated. Social media posts do not generate work orders. That's not helping anybody. So if you've got a problem, if you've got a water problem, turbidity, if you've got a fire hydrant problem, contact the city staff, and we are more than happy to help everybody. So also the new electrical notification system's up and running, and you've already spoke about that. So I will stop there. Does anybody have any questions?
I just want to thank you for your hard work. Thank you for making that sidewalk a safe sidewalk, and for you and all the crew, because I'm always out early in the morning working, and I see Mr. Payne here. I don't know when he sleeps, but he's a workaholic. But thank you,
Not
Steve.
as much as you, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We've just got a great team going on, and I hope the public embraces it and works with us, and things get better.
You're doing awesome, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. All right, since Melissa's not here tonight,
Mayor, our clerk has a report this evening.
who does?
Tammy, our clerk.
Tammy has a report? All right, that's a first.
Second.
Second?
Yes.
First or second reading? Go ahead, sorry.
I just wanted to let business owners know that their renewals are being processed right now. There are 475 of them. So, and we have to stuff those envelopes by hand. So those are in process. I hope to have them out tomorrow, but if I don't have them out tomorrow, I will have them out Monday. If you don't have yours, say by the beginning of the week after next, give me a call. And I will email it, whatever I need to do to make sure everyone has their business license renewal. Does anyone have any questions for me?
No.
No? Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's all.
I'm impressed. It's nice to
Thank
see the city clerk have a report. I'm
I
gonna start calling on you in meetings.
I can
Okay.
give you reports if you would like them.
I think Steve's kind of, I don't think you're gonna top Steve Payne over there.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't think any of us can top Steve's report.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I hate to see long, Steve. All right. Any other city staff have a report? Just checking. All right, now on to my board members. Alderman Letchworth, do you have a report?
I do not.
Alderman Willerjack,
No report?
Alderwoman Dent,
No report.
Alderman Whalen.
Just like to make a comment. Trees and Train opened up Sunday. I think that's just one of many examples we have in Salem. So what we can do is we unite as a community and make it better. If you haven't been there, go up and see it. It's really beautiful. Started the holiday seasons. And happy Thanksgiving to the citizens of Salem.
All right. Well, on that note, last but not least, closed session for personnel, real estate, and security systems. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I move to go into closed session for personnel, real estate, and security systems.
I second the motion.
I'll call for the vote. Alderman Bolerjet.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
And Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Thank you all for attending tonight.